Take Me to Prom is a short documentary directed by Canadian filmmaker Andrew Moyer. Moyer is known for working either by himself or with small crews to tell the personal stories of important events in his subjects' lives. The documentary Take Me to Prom was released in 2019 and won multiple awards on the festival circuit. This includes Best Short Documentary at the Canadian Screen Awards in 2020 and the Best Emerging Documentary Filmmaker at the March on Washington Film Festival in 2019. It shares the intimate stories of how 7 queer individuals experienced their prom night over a span of 7 decades. The participatory documentary is a piece of social commentary on the progress of societal acceptance of LGBTQIA+ people over time. This presentation will explore the relationship between the documentary's mode, its content, and the filmmaker's individual style, and how these elements interacted with each other to create the short documentary that is Take Me to Prom. As mentioned before, this documentary fits into Bill Nichols' classification of the participatory mode. However, it also shares influences from the expository mode, but not enough to be classified as both. The expository influence is experienced through its traditional voice of God narration that pushes a belief or perspective onto its audience. This is, however, done with a participatory twist, with each interviewee acting as their own authoritative voice of God of their stories and shares the perspectives of their prom night and the queer experiences during their respective eras of time. This authoritative approach of telling queer stories is one that works to oppose the typical heteronormative narrative portrayed by the media surrounding prom. The interviews are conducted through the participatory lens of I speak with them for us, me and you, as Nichols describes it. Although Moyer is never seen in the documentary, the audience is reminded of his participation in the telling of these stories as he asks the subjects to dig deeper with the recall of the emotions of their prom night. This is allowing Moyer to maintain some level of control over the point of view expressed in his documentary. The nature of the content of the documentary lends itself to the participatory mode, and any choice to resist this in favor of another mode of documentary would result in a drastically different and inauthentic portrayal of the subject's stories. The content of this documentary is a collection of interviews with 7 queer individuals ranging in ages from 17 to 88. It highlights the changing of trends and the progress of societal acceptance and the persistence of the LGBTQIA+ community. The documentary is presented in chronological order, switching from present-day interviews to archival photos and videos. In order of appearance, the documentary features Alf Roberts, Fontaine, Alfonso King Jr., Marcy Rogers, Mark Hall, Carmen, and Caroline Kahai. From these individuals, they spoke of a range of perspectives of their prom night experience. Some spoke of attending prom before they were aware of their LGBTQIA+ identity, and others spoke of attending prom whilst in the closet. And for those who attended more recently, they spoke of attending out and proud. There was also Marcy Rogers' incredible story of skipping her prom to get high and chased by a bull, each to their own. It is notable that although there was a range of perspectives from various demographic differences, there was an absence of any perspective that opposes the narrative that the subjects were sharing. This is a limitation stemming from the participatory mode. The personal interaction focus of the mode generally does not provide audiences with the opportunity to question or make judgment on what they are being shown. These interviews do, however, align with Moyer's personal filmmaking style, by placing the subjects as the central theme of his documentaries, rather than small corroborating anecdotes included to validate a perspective. Each story is unique and distinct, and this is demonstrated by Moyer's stylistic choices, specifically his use of mise-en-scene. Each interviewee is dressed in what is described as their dream prom outfit, and for some this is in direct juxtaposition of their prom photos. This is a beautiful way of allowing subjects to relive their prom night, so to produce an authentic retelling of history. Moyer's choice to have them dressed in this way ties into the set of each interview being designed to match the era and the stories being told. The symbolic and indexual imagery used to transition the documentary between interviews and in turn the decades pays respect to Moyer's intimate filmmaking style by using photos and videos shown throughout the decades of personal artifacts to give an intimate feel to the stories. This supports Nichols' point of view of style supporting the unfolding plot to constitute a story. Alf Roberts' story features black and white photos in picture frames as if they were on display in his home. Marcy Rogers had a video displayed by a projector with the classic yellow tint of the 1970s. And Caroline Kahai showed videos from her prom on her iPhone. The music and sound effects and added voiceovers aided in this transition. These elements immerse the audiences in the stories and gives a way for the audience's empathy to connect with the interviewees, as is typical of both Moyer's filmmaking style, as seen in his other documentaries, and the participatory mode, which places focus on the learning from personal experiences. Thank you for listening.